Chuck Forbes, Manager of Client Strategy, and this is Ask the Expert, January 2019. Our question today is, Chuck, what factors should I consider when comparing paid campaign data year over year? This is a very important question, and I wanted to kick off the new year with this question because a lot of you right now are probably reviewing your data and putting together strategies to showcase what has worked successfully in the past and where you're going to go in the future. But there are a couple factors that you need to ensure that you remember to look at or include in your data so you tell the right story and ultimately make the right decision. Number one is, remember, if you're running paid search campaigns, you need to factor in an increase in competition. Now, what does that exactly mean? A lot of you already know your direct competitors, but increased competition in search doesn't always mean that is a direct competitor. What increased competition will do in search is drive up your CPC. So you're going to end up spending more. Your average position in search could also fluctuate, and your traffic performance could dip because if there's more players coming in and bidding on those keywords, that's less of an opportunity for you to show up. So why is that important? Well, if you don't measure the competition in search, the same users who are companies who are bidding on your keywords, then you could think that your strategy's not working when that's not really the case. So you need to really decipher between your direct competitors that you know you need to outperform, and then also have another bucket for competitors that may not be direct industry competitors, but they are for your paid search campaigns because they're bidding on the same terms. The second thing to remember is any new tests that you did in any new channels in 2018. Why this is important is because a test is just that. Sometimes you go in with the best plan to succeed, but it doesn't always work out like that. So you may end up spending more money than you anticipated with higher cost per clicks. You learn a lot about the audience in a channel, your copy, creative, etc. If you don't factor and separate your tests out in a separate bucket, what you're doing is you're aggregating all of your data up into one metric or one number and saying, well, for 2019, we need to get our CPC down, or we need to have a cost per lead at a certain measure. That does not tell the whole story because you specifically did a test to get those results and see what that landscape looks like. So keep those in a separate bucket, and if you want to put them together, make sure you're telling the right story that, hey, audience, company, marketing team, this data includes tests, so that's a caveat to remember. Third and finally, with the way the industry is going and the way that strategies shift month over month, quarter over quarter, or year over year, it's very important to remember that if you had any shifts in strategy, you're going to have to account for that in your data. For example, if you had a campaign that was all about engagement and halfway through the year you shifted your focus to be very bottom of the funnel and get more conversions, that's a very important distinction to annotate in your data, because you can go from having an engagement campaign that gets 100,000 impressions, 10,000 clicks, and 200 leads, to then the second half of the year, 50,000 impressions, 2,000 clicks, and maybe you get 300 leads. That's great, you got more leads, but if you're looking at that data, you could possibly say, well, seasonality came into a play at the end of the year, so our traffic dipped, etc. Again, not saying that's not true, but it's not telling the full story, because what you really did was you shifted your strategy. So year-over-year comparisons, data, charts, storytelling, this is all important. Everyone's doing it right now in their company, but again, if you don't keep these factors in mind, you're not only could be telling the wrong story, but more importantly, when you go to make decisions on what's next, are you really making the right decision? So remember these factors, and if you would like any more information on how we could help you with year-over-year comparisons or managing your paid campaign strategies, please contact us at info@morevisibility.com. Thanks for watching.